All right, guys, welcome back to Surviving Hollywood. I'm Johnny Ray Diaz.
I am Aaron Arnold.
I am Austin Arnold.
And we just sat down with producer extraordinaire Rick Bosner. He's made some iconic films like Fruitvale Station. And he actually has a new movie coming out December 4th called Blackbear with Aubrey Plaza. And man, he's also made some really cool indies, and he's got a lot of big projects coming up with some big names. And it was really cool talking to him because he's super down to earth, talking about Fruitvale, how that sort of started from its inception. And I don't know, what did you guys like?
Well, Aaron gave him the nickname jokingly during the pod. Hey, they must call you Mr. Sundance. But I think that definitely applies. He's taken multiple films to Sundance multiple times from a filmmaker's point of view and also from an actor's point of view. We ask him his experience, what he learned, and also how involved are producers in casting those films and finding what works. So that was my biggest sort of takeaway from this episode. Aaron, what do you think?
Yeah, it was really cool talking to this guy. Guy brings a great energy. You can just tell with all these guys who are doing big things that they have like this, this energy that bringing people in. You want to be a part of what they're doing. And I really liked how candid he was with us, just talking about basically taking Fruitville Station from, practically nothing to making it this big thing, setting a trend for civil rights and, the movies being made today, and just talking about how that, put his career on a trajectory and what he's doing now. And
one thing we should say, guys, how great was the audio at the beginning of this episode?
Yeah, I was going to say, FYI, there was a little bit of some technical difficulties at some point. So if you can't hear it that well, we apologize, but it is what it is.
Well, he starts off on Zoom like normal, but then eventually we're going to transition to where he's muting himself on Zoom and it's just him on a cell phone. So we'll cut around it. Who knows what you guys will see, but just so you're aware, there might be some cuts, and, the audio hopefully is, you'll be able to listen. If you're a filmmaker and you care about your job, you care about your career, you're going to listen anyway, because this guy's dropping knowledge bombs.
Boom. There you go. Enjoy, guys.
You're trying to survive in Hollywood during the holidays, then you better stay at home. Pull up your PC, iPad, Android, or Apple phone. Merry podcast. Merry podcast. Merry podcast.
Well, thanks for definitely thank you for coming on. I appreciate you obviously getting back to me. That's amazing. And there's obviously a lot of things we could talk to you about. You've worked on a number of projects and things like that. I was actually more curious on my end, sort of how you kind of got started. And I also saw that you were born in Colombia.
I was, yes, absolutely.
Okay. My father's from Bogota as well.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
very cool.
When did you come here, or how did that?
So I'm adopted. My parents are Irish. I was 4 months old. Yeah. So 4 months old when I came over, grew up in upstate New York. And my parents were in the theater. So I spent most of my childhood involved in, whether it was behind the scenes, they were both directors, actors, being involved in community theater, being involved in film and TV, doing a lot of like child acting and stuff myself. So that's really how I got the itch to be involved with it. I mean, I really enjoyed, honestly, mostly just the community.
I think we just lost audio.
Yeah. We stopped hearing the audio.
Rick, you still there?
Very weird.
We just lost your audio.
Oh, did I lose you guys?
Yep. I think you're back.
Yeah, you're in again.
Oh, well, I don't know. Where did I lose you at?
I heard you about community. Yeah, it was a
Child actor.
community. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, that being involved in community theater and stuff, and being involved in film and TV at a young age, I really loved being involved with all the people and, everybody looking or, working towards a singular vision of whether it's film or a play or whatever it was. And that's what really kind of propelled me into, the career that I have. It's what I've always wanted to do since I was a young kid. So, and luckily my parents were super supportive of that. So, yeah.
What kind of stuff were they directing? Were they?
Well, they were directing like community theater stuff.
Theater stuff,
My
okay.
father was in plays with like Philip Seymour Hoffman. My great grandparents, even before that, had done stuff on Broadway with the Barrymores. So it was like a very, that was something that was just a part of our family, was being involved in theater and film and stuff like that. So.
What plays or musicals are your favorite? Because I'm a big musical guy too.
All right. Well, I'm not a big musical guy, but I do really love straight plays. So I mean, my favorite play is probably Noises Off.
Dude, I was going to say that. Dude, that's one of mine.
That is my favorite play. The movie is great too, but I really love that play.
It's such a good one.
It's a great one. Yeah, absolutely. So, and the play my father was in with Philip Seymour Hoffman, he played his father in it, was A Breeze to the Gulf, which is I think it's Neil Simon. So my parents did a lot of those kinds of plays, and also melodramas and thrillers, things like that. So I always love that stuff. Yeah,
that's amazing to have that influence. I'm assuming they're obviously super supportive of whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah,
how did you sort of kind of get into more of the producing world then, and not stick to maybe performing?
Well, as a kid, I ended up, I started in doing community theater, but then I started doing like local commercials, stuff for PBS, all that kind of stuff. And I started seeing, what was involved with, behind the scenes, making stuff. And I, between takes and stuff, I was over with the camera guys, asking them what they were doing, being that annoying kid, just talking to everybody. So that was where I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is really cool. So that's where I started. And I ended up, working in high school, like taking college courses in film and TV, because that was the only thing I cared about. I didn't really care about school. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And that's what ultimately brought me out to California, was to pursue a career and to go to school.
Now, for those who don't know what a producer does, what is it that you do as a producer that excites you so much that you bring a film together?
I lost.
And there's, oh, sorry, you keep losing me.
Yeah, I think
you're back.
I think you're good now. Okay. Technology. No, I think we lost you.
Do
you want to try
an Ethernet?
Yeah, right. Or maybe do you want to try without the headset? Maybe that's.
All right, let me try it.
You think it's the headset?
I don't know. Maybe it could be the.
Is this better?
We can hear you better, I think.
I mean, we can hear you at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this good? I can't see you guys, but you can hear me?
You can't?
We can hear you though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We can
don't want to miss a word.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, where were we? What was the question?
Hey, well, you said that, ever since you were small, working in theater and plays, that, you knew just the camaraderie and working together, you wanted to be a part of that. And then you became a producer. What is it that a producer does? What is it that excites you about being a producer?
Right. Well, there are so many different types of producers. There are, producers that bring financing, producers that develop, for producers that work within the confines of the money to make the production happen. For me, it's bringing together the people for the specific movie to, again, see that singular vision and make sure that everyone's moving towards the right direction. If everybody's kind of really centered on what they're doing and not collaborating with others, I mean, filmmaking is a collaborative medium. You have to be collaborative to make it work. And I love meeting new people and seeing, their insight and their take on, the creative process and what's on the page. I mean, that's my favorite part. And at the end of the day, you have this tangible thing, which is different in theater. And that was the hard part of theater is, when theater is done, it's done. You can never see it again. It's not still there. But with film, it's there. When we're all gone, it'll still be there, whether it's good or bad or whatever it is, it'll be there to document that time. And I've always liked, that's always been something that's appealed to me about it. It's like, it exists. It'll always be there.
Yeah.
So
somebody can always see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
when you were kind of started producing and stuff, I mean, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I would say probably the one that sort of maybe set things off was Fruitvale Station.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of leading up to that, how did you sort of get to that point as a starting producer, working on films, like smaller films, things like that? How did you sort of get to that level?
Well, I would say it was all about relationships. This whole business is about who you know and who I think you make good relationships.
We lost it. We lost it.
Oh no.
We lost audio again. Sorry, Rick.
Rick, I think Rick's on that hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah, probably.
It's just the audio keeps like cutting out for random periods of time. So
yeah.
Oh gosh. All right.
You're back.
All right. Where do you want me to start with?
Relationships.
Okay.
No. How did you get that? How did you first get your first jobs? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I was in the Bay Area, and I just started out, working in whatever I could find. After I was done with school, I remember when I got done with school, my dad handed me a check for $1,000 and said, "Good luck." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "You have a degree. Go get a job. Like, you're done." I was like, oh my God. So I was freaking out, and I was like bartending, and I was like, I better figure something out. So I hunted Craigslist, and I was like looking for anything I could find. I started working in corporate videos and, just anything like small local commercials. And I slowly built my way up, and I started, PAing and coordinating and UPMing and stuff like that, and just building a whole network of people in San Francisco at the time is where I was. And, learning from other people's mistakes and being available to do, this is what I wanted to do always. So like always being the person that they could go to and have the answers. So, over time, I started getting the ability to produce smaller films before Fruitvale. And I would take things that maybe other people had passed on, because I was like, well, I can make this happen. It's a small budget, it's really tiny, but I have the network of people and the relationships to, make one of these movies. And basically that is how I got Fruitvale too, because Fruitvale was only a budget of $900,000. So there were other people that they were looking to, see if they could make the movie, and a whole bunch of people said, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. And I took one look at the script and knew how much money there was. And I was like, oh yeah, I can totally do this. And I did it all based on, again, relationships. Because in a movie like that, nobody's making any money. You're doing it for the passion of the project. And just knowing what Ryan had made, the script was beautiful, and the people that wanted to come out and support it, I was able to.
Just lost you.
Wait, the people that came out to support it.
People that came out to support. Damn it.
I think, Rick is the producer. On a set, how would he produce this? Oh, you're back.
I'm back. All right. Sorry. Oh, gosh.
Rick, how would you produce this if you were having technical problems?
How would I produce it?
Guys, let's just come back another day. It's not working out,
We got a budget.
We only have so much time, guys. Let's move it.
I know. I could call in if there's a play. Can I just call it? If I called it not on this, would it work? If I called it over the phone?
Yeah.
I probably have a number. We'll just
cut to this part.
Okay. Anyway, we're talking about Fruitville Station, that movie ahead of its time. Now, that message, what is the message? Just telling those kind of stories. Everybody's all about it. But back when you made that movie, nobody was telling those kind of stories. Do you ever think about that cultural impact that you helped push forward?
Well, definitely now. It is really the beginning of a Black Lives Matter movement, to really shed light on what is happening in current day. And this isn't a civil rights movie or anything like that. This was an incident that happened in 2009. And really, like I was saying earlier, it was pretty quick that we started putting it on the screen. The incident happened in 2009 and we started filming in 2011.
Wow.
So, it was pretty amazing. Yeah, at the time, I knew when I got that call, I knew at that moment I had to do this movie. It was going to be really great, and the script was amazing, and Ryan just had a really singular, amazing vision for what he wanted to do. So I'm very fortunate I got to be a part of it.
Was the film initially written with Michael B. Jordan in mind for the character?
From what I remember, Ryan wrote the script first, and then the first people that were attached were Michael B. and Melanie Diaz. They were attached for quite a while before it ended up going to Forrest Whitaker and Significant and Nina Yang and everybody getting involved. But it was really to shed light on the incident that had happened. Ryan is from Oakland, so he was very close to the material, very close to the case, and followed it the entire time. So that's how it really came together pretty quick.
And what type of problems are you solving, like day to day on set, if you can remember, as producer?
Well, day to day on set, there were tons of things that we were on a super limited budget. We had things, every department was way understaffed for what we were trying to do. Fortunately, I had, just amazing friends and people that came out and helped. I mean, the unions were super supportive with what we were doing, giving us a lot of leniency. At the same time, we were filming Fruitvale Station. Woody Allen was filming Blue Jasmine in San Francisco, and all of my friends were working on Blue Jasmine and making good money. So they would come over when they were done wrapping in the art department there and come help us, which,
wow,
that's cool.
Blessed that they came and did that. And, that's the only way movies like this come together. And that, again, it felt like community theater because we all knew each other. We all already worked on tons of movies and projects together here in the Bay Area. It's not like Los Angeles, it's a much smaller, tight-knit community. So everyone came out to support each other, and it was really amazing. Yeah.
When you talk about like a limited budget, when you came on to work on the film, did they already have a budget, or was part of your job to also help find some funding?
We were partially financed at the time we started filming. We didn't have all the financing. We were pulling it together. But it was to figure out, what we could make it for, how much we needed to get it done. So we were in the throes of doing the same. It was like, how much to make this movie? How much do we still need to raise? I mean, we were filming and we still didn't have all the money together. So it was stressful, but, I had a great partner with Nina Yang, who's obviously very prolific and has done a lot of other amazing movies, and she really helped pull everything together too. It was great. Yeah.
And once that movie wraps, are you done off the project, or as a producer, are you still involved?
Well, for that movie, I brought that movie into post, and then they ended up finishing it up, Nina and Ryan and everything. I had introduced them to my friends over at Skywalker Sound, who ended up, doing the movie and everything. And then it was really at Sundance where, we all saw the final product, and it was like, wow, this really, there's never been anything like that experience of seeing the audience really feel the emotional impact of what we had created. So, the stars aligned for that one. They really did. It does not always happen with movies. It's a blessing to be a part of that. So
how did things, obviously Sundance is a huge festival. How did things change for you specifically after that film premiered there, and actually won, right? It was a jury prize.
Yeah, it won both prizes. It won the grand jury prize and the audience award. So yeah, my life changed in a really big way career-wise. I got a lot of phone calls, a lot of things, a lot of requests to be involved with different movies. And I got to work with some amazing people after that. I mean, I think right after that one, I ended up doing a movie with Martin Scorsese and Dean Devlin, where they asked me to produce a movie called The Wannabe, which was really great. I mean, to do a mob movie under the banner of Scorsese doesn't get much better than that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, then that was incredible. So, then from there, you know, just kind of really looking for projects. I mean, I really look for projects that are kind of going to try to push things forward in some way after Fruitvale, that really kind of have something to say, that, or have like a really, you know, insightful director with a really great message and a really great story. You know, because when you decide to make a movie as a producer or director or whatever, people don't understand you live with this movie for forever. It's like your child, you know? So people will call you up in 5 years and say, oh, we got to do the residuals for so-and-so, or, you know, what was that music cue we used for that time, because I need to use it. I mean, you live with it for literally the rest of your life. So it's also, when you decide to do a project, like, are these people I want to be connected to till the end? So it's really true, but yeah.
I would love to get more insight on Sundance, just because so much of our audience and us ourselves, like, we're actors, but in our spare time we write and produce our own short films. To, you know, to get into these festivals, maybe not so much with the audience award, but generally speaking, to win an award at Sundance, in your opinion, how much do you think is politics involved? And not in a bad way. I just mean just like being there, showing up, talking, meeting people, in your opinion.
Oh, it's a ton of it. I mean, so Sundance, you know, going to Sundance for Fruitvale, that was not my first, you know, experience at Sundance. I had been to Sundance maybe, I don't know, 5 times prior to that. I mean, the first time I went to college, it was, you know, 5 or 6 of us in a hotel room, like, cranked together, hitchhiking to and from, and just being like, you know, open to the possibilities of everything. And I think, especially in filmmaking, you have to be willing to kind of, maybe, if you're not a people person, go outside your comfort zone and approach people, meet people, be authentic, not be trying to get stuff from people, but, you know, try to, you know, nurture relationships and make contact, because that's how everything is done. And especially Sundance, you know, a big part of Sundance is relationships, you know, and then if you end up being a filmmaker that down the road has something to say or whatnot, then you can tell people that you met 5 or 6 years, oh, I got this great movie and I really can't wait for you to check it out. It's about this, and they know who you are. I mean, that kind of goes for anything, especially like if you're trying to get grants or you're trying to get, you know, all the little things that Sundance or San Francisco Film Society or whatever has. Like, don't just go with their hand out and say, I'm awesome, I have this great movie. Like, you know, people have to invest in you before they invest in your project. So I think that's something, you know, that people don't always realize from the start.
How important is having a star name to get into these big festivals, do you think?
Oh, it's not about that. It's really not. It's, do you have something unique to say? Something unique that nobody's seen? I mean, Tangerine was an amazing movie at Sundance that was made for $100,000 on an iPhone, and that does not have any stars in it. But it is like, it's a memorable movie. It's a great. There have been plenty of stuff. I mean, the Duplass brothers, and, you know, you don't need that kind of a thing right now. You know, it's an exciting time, but like with filmmaking, but like filmmaking has changed in a way that now people are really looking at who is the filmmaker, like, you know, behind the movie, who is that person? And is there something about you as a person that really makes the story you're telling unique? And that's what people want to invest in more than like anything else. It really is. So it's really more of an all-encompassing thing than just making this really cool film with a celebrity in it. So,
and I know you've also directed your own film as well. Is writing and directing something more that you hope to do more in the future, or is that just something you were kind of trying? Like,
yeah, I mean, that's really always been the way I wanted to go, is doing writing and directing. And I guess, you know, I had made my first movie, Falling Uphill, right when I had just finished it and was about to start doing festivals when I got the call for Fruitvale Station. And when I got that phone call, I knew I had to make a decision am I going to invest my time in this movie I just made and go try to do all that, or put it into Fruitvale? And it was just too obvious. Like, Fruitvale is what I need to invest my time, energy, and thought into, and it is, and it was definitely worth it. And since then, again, even with Ryan or other filmmakers, people have come to me to kind of help. I'm a director in the DGA, and I end up doing, whether it's kind of coach directing people on how, a lot of these people are first-time directors that end up doing these projects. It's a skill set. It definitely is. And it's something that I am going to be doing more of in the future. But, I also really do enjoy producing too. So it's, it's the best of both worlds.
What does it typically take for a producer to join the PGA?
Well, there are different qualifications for it, but basically, if you're a feature film director, you have to have, I think right now it's like 2 movies that have had distribution, and I honestly, I can't remember. I think that's what it is. I'm in the Producers Guild too, but I think that's what the current thing is that you have 2 or 3 films that have been in wide distribution. So
Distribution, mine's on YouTube. I'm in.
There you go. No, it's yeah, with the distributors that it's been like in theaters and done the whole thing. So
I put it on Instagram though. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, you ever think about working with this other San Francisco filmmaker, Tommy Wiseau? Have you ever connected with him?
Yeah, the room too.
No, he's a good guy, but do we want to move on?
Area guy?
I don't know. It's just in the room that it features San Francisco, right?
It does. I don't think he's a Bay Area guy, but maybe could be. I do know he filmed that here, or part of his set here or something. So
yeah.
I wanted to find out about one of his recent movies, Blackbear, but did you guys have any more on Sundance or anything?
That was mostly what I was curious about. The one other question I had is, working with Ryan Coogler. Obviously now he's doing Black Panther and things like that. Massively blown up. What was it like working with him, and are you still working with him on future projects?
But you worked with him on Fruitville?
Yeah, because he directed.
And then Michael B. Jordan
Ryan,
went to Panther.
Right, and Michael B. was in Black Panther also. Yeah, he brought, and so was Forrest Whitaker, who I ended up producing Fruitvale with too. But Ryan is great. Ryan was an amazing director to work with. Again, he was young. He was right out of USC, and I remember on the first day, he had done some amazing short films if you've ever seen them. One of them is called Fig, and he'd done that with all of his friends and everything. The first day of Fruitvale, I remember driving with them and going on the set, and him going, "Rick," and I was like, "What?" He goes, "This is like a real movie." Yeah, dude. It is. It's a real film, because it was. It was, these were all people that have been in the business for a really long time. But Ryan, he just took to it so perfectly, and he's such a personable, awesome guy. Success couldn't have come to a better person. He really deserves everything that he's gotten. So, I wish him the best with everything, and he's just taken off. So it's incredible. It's great.
Yeah.
How about even before we get to your most recent movie, any tidbits of insights you picked up from Marty Scorsese on Wannabe?
Well, Marty came onto that, and, he gave a lot of great notes about, filmmaking and everything, and just, to be around that, and to somebody who's so prolific, and also Dean Devlin, who, people may know from like Independence Day and stuff like that. Just incredible filmmakers, very big powerhouses of Hollywood. Again, it doesn't really change. Making a movie it's a collaborative thing, and these people are both really, really collaborative and giving great notes and taking notes from the filmmaker, and just seeing that, there's a way to work with your collaborators to make a really great film. So that was amazing. And, there have been great people along the way. Working with, Chris Kelly on Other People, who was one of the head writers for a long time on Saturday Night Live, and seeing,
Yes.
That's another movie that went to Sundance, seeing his whole vision come to life. I mean, incredible cast with Molly Shannon, Zach Wood, and Bradley Whitford. I mean, that was another one that was just, when I read that script, I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. I'm laughing out loud at every 3 pages. Like, I gotta do this movie. So, that was an amazing experience too. So.
It sounds like a lot of fun people to work with. But
was Sarah Schneider on that movie too? The other SNL writer? All right.
No, she wasn't. This was Chris Kelly's autobiographical film about his mother passing away from cancer. So she wasn't on. Yeah.
So
I saw that.
They call you Mr. Sundance now, right? Because your newest movie, Blackbear, is in Sundance, or won already, right?
It's at Sundance. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. No, it was great. Yeah, thank you. It was, I guess we're fortunate that Sundance happened before the pandemic, because we did. It was a really great experience in January, going there with the whole team and, supporting the project and whatnot. And it was really received great. And, I mean, making the movie was a total trip. So it was worth it,
So tell us about this movie, because I've seen the trailer, and I don't know if I fully know what it's about.
That's what I liked about the trailer.
It looks like a thriller, like a mind bender sort of thing. But maybe talk for audience so they know what this movie's about, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really say what the movie's about without totally giving it away, but it's definitely like a dramatic thriller. It's very, I don't know what the right word. It's, John Cassavetes, what's the Gina Rowlands movie? Why is it escaping my mind right now?
Can't think of it.
Can't think of it either.
Audience, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. No, it's escaping my mind. Sorry. But it's a really amazing dramatic piece, especially for Aubrey Plaza. I mean, she's really incredible in it. And we filmed that in, was it not last summer? Is it? Yeah. No, I don't know. But it was, we filmed it in the Adirondacks, in a very, very remote place in the Adirondacks, like 3 hours away from civilization. So in Long Lake, New York. And it was amazing. I mean, again, I brought out a lot of people I brought out people from the Bay Area. I brought up people from Los Angeles to work on that, people from New York, from the movies I've done out there. So it was a real communal, very, again, like theatrical community theater experience. So
I really want to see the movie Blackbear, not out yet, but how did you know that movie was going to be special enough to get recognized at Sundance? Because horror thriller movies, dime a dozen, very bankable, very good, but to get selected for Sundance and get that recognition, I feel like, how did you know?
Well, I was first approached to be a part of it by Larry Levine, the director, and him and his wife, Sophia Takal. I've known them for a while, and they make some really great indie movies. If you guys haven't seen them, they're both directors in their own right. Sophia at the time was shooting the Black Christmas movie for Blumhouse. I've always dug their work. It's really good, and very independent spirited. And when I read the script, I was just like, oh man, this is different. It doesn't follow a straight narrative that we're all used to. And that's what Sundance wants. They want really interesting things that people haven't seen before. And Aubrey Plaza being involved is, Aubrey and Larry had been in a show prior. That's how they knew each other. It's called Easy. I think they play husband and wife on an episode of the show Easy on Netflix. And that's how they met. And Larry, started writing this and with her in mind. And I just kind of was like, well, we're gonna make this happen, and getting everybody involved was really easy because this will be an indie hit, whether it's Sundance or not. It was a great script. So.
And I saw it was supposed to come out December 4th. Where will it be available for people to watch?
You'll be able to first purchase it on iTunes or Amazon, any of that, before it goes to one of the streaming platforms. But you'll be able to watch it there on the 4th. So
Nice.
yeah.
And maybe this is a dumb question, but I only ask because at least half our audience are actors. But do you have any say in the casting process, or is that just all the director?
Oh yeah, no, the producers definitely have a say in the casting process, and who's gonna. I mean, we work with the casting director to see, who the right fit is. I mean, the chemistry reads, all kinds of things, getting tapes, all the way down to people that are day players. I mean, we're looking at that the whole time. Again, with the right teams, it's again a communal effort to make the vision. So.
Besides general, good acting, but can you share any insights into maybe some like pet peeves or something you really like when you see a audition or a self-tape from an actor?
There's nothing. I mean, it's really just what is your take on the character, and if you do something that's a little bit different than everyone else is doing it, take a different take on it. It may not even be the way that the director ends up directing you. It'll make you stand out. So I would say, if you read something and it just seems like, oh, this person is yelling this or whatnot, or they're really angry, maybe try doing it different, because everyone's like, take what's obvious and make it something different. I mean, that might make you stand out slightly more. I don't know. But that's what I've noticed in my experience. That's what
next time there's a yelling scene, I'm going to say, hey, Rick told me to do this, not to yell. And they're like, it's an argument. I'm like, well, Rick said.
They're like, have you ever been to Sundance? That's what they like.
Yeah.
So,
and I know you have a lot of, at least according to IMDb, you have several other projects in development. I don't know if you can talk about any of those. Are you currently producing on those projects right now? And what's the hope now? Because there's not really film festivals. I don't know if it's a weird time. So
it is. It's a weird time, but I like to try to look at things like glass half full, and maybe this will give people that wouldn't normally have a chance, an opportunity to shine. Having film festivals be limited and everything like that. I mean, I don't know how excited I am personally about like online film festivals, but maybe it'll give people an opportunity to really, fine tune the films they already have, or look at what they're going to create, because everything is changing. It's the Wild West out there, and that can be good. But at this point, the next movie that I have coming out is a Blumhouse movie that I produced with Jason Blum called The Manor. And it's directed by Axel Carolyn and starring Barbara Hershey. And it's a movie about, I don't know how to say it. Basically witches and witchcraft in old folks' home. And that's coming out in next year, early next year, as part of the Welcome to the Blumhouse series. So we filmed that last October. And that'll be coming out. It's a really great film, and Axel just got done directing an episode of the Blythe Manor, the Netflix series. So she's a really talented director. So that was a great film to be a part of. Also, yeah.
The films you produce with Blue Creek, your company, how important is representation for Latinx, or just any representation to you with the movies you pick? Because I know you've won some awards promoting that.
Yeah, it's important to me. I think, again, we're in such a interesting time. I guess it's always been this way, but it just seems more in the forefront of everything with media, is how intertwined politics and Hollywood are. And diversity and representation and all these things. And it is a good thing. I mean, there's so many people now that are having a voice that never had a voice, whether it's, being a person of color, being LGBT, or any of these things. And to have those stories told in unique and interesting ways, I mean, that's what really excites me. And more of that needs to be seen, so that you know, society can't really change unless they see what it can be. And that's kind of the next thing that I'm excited to see. I mean, right now you see a lot of, you know, kind of what we should be doing and taking a stand. But I'm excited to see the films that are what's around the corner after that. Like what comes after that, you know, with all these kinds of movies. So I really, you know, I like working with all types of people, and I've worked with a lot of also female directors too, who have had, you know, never had the opportunity to do stuff before. And Andy Timoner, who's a very prolific documentarian, doing the Mapplethorpe movie. That was an amazing experience. Also, it's really important for me to, I mean, again, you're working with these people for forever. You're attached to everyone in these projects, so it's got to be something more than just fluff, you know, to carry it year after year.
I love it.
Yeah.
I guess as we're wrapping up with our final questions, I was just wondering, because, you know, you've done so much and you're still doing so much. What do you think worked for you? What advice do you have for younger people who are coming up like you once did?
I would just say don't feel like you have to do everything the way you're told. Like, you know, for me in high school, I was always panicked because I was not a straight A student. You know, I was trying to find how do I work around like this so I can go make movies. I was always trying to do that. And I would panic every day of my life, my senior and junior year, like, I'm never going to get into USC. I'm never going to get into a Tisch School of the Arts. I don't have the grades to do that. I have to figure out some other way to do that. And I did, you know, again, and that came with, well, you know, relationships and you know, building that with other people. You know, one of the something that happened to me when I was making my senior thesis in college. I was here in San Francisco on Treasure Island, and I got my friends together. We're filming this scene, and this guy comes up to me and goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just filming my senior film." And he's like, "Oh, cool. What's it about?" And I told him and everything, and I was like, "Well, it's nice to meet you. I gotta go, but we're about to film a scene." And I was like, "My name is Rick, by the way." And he goes, "Oh, I'm Chris Columbus." And I was like, what? Like, you know, Chris Columbus from Harry Potter and Home Alone and Goonies and everything.
Nice.
Groundhog Day.
You know, so
Groundhog?
Right.
He was Gremlins, you know.
Jerry Maguire.
When you're done, if you want to come over to my set, we're filming the movie Rent, you can, like, come hang out. So I went that day, and all my keys came, the key crew members got to meet the keys on Rent. I got to hang out with Chris, and, you know, he said to me too, you know, Rick, all these people that are working for me here, these are people I went to college with, you know, NYU. These are all my friends. These are people I brought with me. You know, it's all about, you know, keeping those people close. Yeah, and that always stuck with me. It's a really a good story, I thought. So
now you guys are best friends to this day.
We're best friends. I think he is here in the Bay Area, so I have been in contact with him definitely. So he's
awesome.
Yeah.
My last question was, you know, coming from your perspective, that, you know, we ourselves have also, you know, produced short films and things like that. I would say one of the biggest challenges for filmmakers sometimes is the funding. You know, especially when you're kind of getting things going, you've maybe made a couple of shorts, but you really want to step it up, and you're like, well, it's self-funding basically, maybe a Kickstarter or something. What advice do you have for people that have that as their hurdle, essentially?
Well, I think you gotta, when you decide that you want to do something like that, it really starts from the inception of the project with writing. Like, you gotta write something that is feasible, especially when you're doing a short. If it's like, you know, you have $5,000 or $20,000, whatever it is, kind of, you know, work it backwards a little bit. Like, well, what can I get for free? Mom can make all the food, and, you know, I don't know, my brother can drive the actors from wherever they're coming, or whatever it is. What do I actually have to spend money on? And you're in a much better position if you are not in one of these major cities. If you're not in LA, San Francisco, or New York, good. If you're out in the suburbs of, you know, somewhere in the world, that's great. You can get people excited about it. And again, if you can get people excited, people just come out to do it for the passion of it. And part of it is if you don't have the money, you have to make it, again, feel communal. You have to bring people in. You can't just make it like, I'm this demanding director demanding these things. No, make people feel welcome, make people feel involved, make people feel like their creative influence matters to the film. You'll get a lot more out of it, to the movie at the end of the day. So
that's the secret. I guess we have to give water to people on set. Fine. Fine. Whatever it takes.
Keep that crew hydrated.
Hey, there's a ditch. There's a ditch.
That's great. That's great.
Guys, great conversation. Rick, where can our audience follow and find you?
You can find me. My website is bluecreekpictures.com. I'm on Instagram at Rick Bosner, Bosner. I'm there. You can see what I'm doing. There are things coming up, lots of cool projects to film in 2021, and hopefully we'll be in a better place for everybody in the world this next coming year. So
yeah,
I love it. Rick, your energy is contagious, man. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story about Chris Columbus and about the community and Noise is Off. It was awesome having you on, man.
And December 4th.
Nice to meet all of you.
This Blackbear, December 4th.
Blackbear, yeah.
There we go.
Watch it, rent it, buy it, whatever.
Awesome. Thanks, Rick.
Great. All right. Thanks, guys.